children. Today we will learn about energies of orbitals. Firstly, I would explain you about the energies of orbitals in hydrogen atom, following which I would be explaining about the energies of orbitals in atoms other than hydrogen, that is in multi-electron atoms. In hydrogen atom, we all know that there is only one positively charged proton in its nucleus and a negatively charged electron moving around the nucleus. Since the proton is positively charged and the electron is negatively charged, naturally there is a tendency for them to attract each other. So the only force of interaction that is occurring here is the force of attraction between the positively charged proton and the negatively charged electron. So the only electrical interaction that is present in hydrogen atom here is the force of attraction between the negatively charged electron and the positively charged proton. Where can you find the single electron in hydrogen when it is in the ground state and when it is in the excited state? The single electron present in a hydrogen atom prefers to stay in the lowest energy level, that is the first shell which is closest to the nucleus. This is because when the electron is in the first shell closest to the nucleus, it is strongly held by the force of attraction of the proton present inside the nucleus of hydrogen atom. As a result, an electron occupying the first shell has lowest energy. Okay, an electron occupying the first shell always has the lowest energy. Now, for the first shell, the value of principal quantum number n is equal to 1. So the first shell has only one orbital and that is the s orbital. Okay, so that makes it 1s orbital. In hydrogen atom, when the electron occupies the 1s orbital which is closest to the nucleus, it is strongly held by the force of attraction of the proton in the nucleus of hydrogen atom. As a result, it would have lowest energy. In this situation, the hydrogen atom is said to be in the most stable condition and this state of hydrogen atom is called the ground state. Okay, now look at the picture displayed. I have shown a picture related to Bohr's orbits for you to correlate the concept of shells with that of orbitals in our present context. Remember what we learned in Bohr's postulate regarding absorption of energy by electrons and their movement to higher energy levels? The second postulate. Now, imagine that you have an electron in the 1s orbital of hydrogen atom. Where? In the ground state of hydrogen atom. Okay, 1s orbital. Now, imagine that you are supplying some amount of energy and that the electron occupying the 1s orbital absorbs this energy that is supplied by you and gets excited to a higher energy level. Let's think that it jumps to the second shell. The second shell again has two different orbitals. What are they? The one 2s orbital and the three 2p orbitals. The incoming electron from 1s orbital may occupy either the 2s orbital or any of the three 2p orbitals. Now, what if the 1s electron jumps to the third shell? The third shell again has three different types of orbitals. What are they? 3s, 3p and 3d. Okay, so the incoming electron from 1s orbital may occupy either the 3s orbital or any of the 3p orbitals or any of the 3d orbitals. So, when an electron in a hydrogen atom occupies 2s, 2p or higher orbitals, it is said to be in the excited state. So this is all about the ground state and excited state of a hydrogen atom. Children, look at the picture given on the bottom right corner. I want you all to visualize what I'm just going to say with this picture. Alright? Now let me explain about the energies possessed by orbitals in a hydrogen atom. As explained previously, just imagine an electron occupying the 1s orbital of a hydrogen atom. Okay, just imagine an electron occupying the ground state of the hydrogen atom. Assume that the electron in the 1s orbital absorbs sufficient amount of energy and jumps to the second shell. We know that it may occupy either the 2s orbital or any one of the three 2p orbitals of the second shell. Now note that the energies of these orbitals in the second shell remains the same. Okay, the energies of the 2s orbital and the three 2p orbitals of the second shell are the same. We know that the 2s orbital is spherical in shape and each of the three 2p orbitals are dumbbell shaped. However, the different shapes of the 2s and 2p orbitals in a hydrogen atom do not affect the energy possessed by an electron occupying these orbitals. That is, whatever be the shape of the 2s and 2p orbitals in the second shell, an electron has the same energy when it is in the 2s orbital and when it is in any of the three 2p orbitals. Okay. Now, what about the energy of an 1s electron when it jumps to the third shell? If the 1s electron in hydrogen atom jumps to the third shell, we know that it may occupy either the 3s orbital or any one of the three 3p orbitals or any one of the five 3d orbitals. We also know that 3s orbital is spherical in shape. Each of the three 3p orbitals are dumbbell shaped and each of the four 3d orbitals are diffused in shape except for the fifth orbital, that is dz square, which is donut shaped. Note that whatever be the shape of the 3s, 3p and 3d orbitals, an electron in the third shell always has the same energy when it is in the 3s orbital. It will have the same energy when it is in any of the three 3p orbital and when it is in the any of the five 3d orbitals. The energies of all the orbitals in the third shell remains the same. Thus, orbitals having same energy or equal energy are called degenerate orbitals. Okay. Now, we can also see that the energy of an electron in a hydrogen atom is equivalent to the energy corresponding to the shell it occupies. And this is given by the principal quantum number n. Okay, the energy of an electron in a hydrogen atom or hydrogen-like species which also have only one electron depends on the value of the principal quantum number. That is, it depends on the shell in which the electron is present, either the first shell, second shell and so on. The energy of an electron in a hydrogen atom does not differ with different shapes of orbitals. Since the shapes of orbitals are determined by the value of azimuthal quantum number L, the energy of electron in a hydrogen atom does not depend on the value of L. Okay, it does not depend on the value of azimuthal quantum number, but it depends only on the value of principal quantum number. Children, I have displayed the energy level diagram showing the energies of orbitals in the first, second, third and fourth shell of hydrogen atom. In the diagram, you can see that the energy of the 1s orbital in the first shell is the least. This is because it lies very close to the nucleus and the electron in it is strongly attracted by the nucleus. Okay, the energies of the 2s and 2p orbitals in the second shell are the same. So, 2s and 2p orbitals having equal energies can also be called as degenerate orbitals. However, their energy is greater than the energy of the 1s orbital. The energies of the 3s, 3p and 3d orbitals in the third shell are the same. So, 3s, 3p, 3d orbitals can also be called as degenerate orbitals. And the energy of 3s, 3p and 3d orbitals is greater than the energies of the orbitals in first and second shell. Hence, the energy of the orbitals in hydrogen atom increases with increase in the value of n. Isn't it? As the value of n increases, the energy of orbitals in that shell, okay, corresponding to the value of n also increases. Note that the orbitals of the same value of n have the same energies even for different L values for hydrogen atom. L stands for azimuthal quantum number. We all know that. The azimuthal quantum number L indicates the shapes of orbitals. The spherically shaped s orbital has the value of L as 0. The dumbbell shaped p orbital has the value of L as 1, and so on. So whatever be the shapes of the orbitals, orbitals belonging to the same shell have same energies in a hydrogen atom. Now let me explain about the energies of orbitals in multi-electron atoms other than hydrogen and hydrogen-like species. The energy of an electron in a multi-electron atom depends not only on the principal quantum number n but also on the azimuthal quantum number L. Hence, in the case of multi-electron atoms, orbitals with same principal quantum number possess different energies for different azimuthal quantum numbers. However, in the case of hydrogen atoms, orbitals with same principal quantum number possessed same energies for different azimuthal quantum numbers. Hence, in the case of hydrogen atoms, the energies of orbitals depend on the value of the principal quantum number n. In multi-electron atoms, orbitals belonging to the same shell have different energies for different values of azimuthal quantum number L. That is, for a given shell of a certain value of n, the orbitals s, p, d, f and so on, they all have different energies. Remember, for hydrogen atom within a shell of value n, the energies of all the orbitals were the same. But this is not so in multi-electron atoms. In multi-electron atoms, within a shell of value n, the energy of orbitals increases in a certain order. How? The energy of s orbital is the least. The energy of p orbital is more than the energy of s orbital, and the energy of d orbital is a little more than the energy of p orbital, and the energy of f orbital is still more than the energy of d orbital. Look at the picture displayed at the bottom right corner. Let us take the examples of 3s, 3p and 3d orbitals in third shell. For these, the value of n is 3. In the third shell, the energy of 3s orbital is less than the energy of 3p orbital, which is again lesser than the energy of 3d orbital. Now look at the energy level diagram showing the energies of orbitals in the first, second, up to sixth shells of multi-electron atoms. You can see that the energy of 1s orbital in the first shell is the least. So in the second shell, for which the value of n is equal to 2, the energy of 2s orbital is less than the energy of 2p orbital. In the third shell, for which the value of n is 3, the energy of 3s orbital is less than the energy of 3p orbital, which is again lesser than the energy of 3d orbital. Now for higher values of n, the differences in the energies of orbitals becomes more noticeable. Okay, the differences in the energies of orbitals becomes more distinct, and as a result, staggering or mixing up of orbital energy may result. Okay, now look at the example. Look at 4s orbital in the energy level diagram. Okay, the energy of 4s orbital is lesser than the energy of 3d orbital. But this should have been the opposite, isn't it? See, here, due to high differences in the energies of orbitals, mixing up of orbital energy resulted. Staggering of orbital energy resulted. Okay, now look at the energy of 6s orbital. It is lesser than the energy of 5d orbital. And look at the energy of 4f orbital. The 6p orbital is not shown in the energy level diagram, but the energy of 6p orbital is much more than the energy of 4f orbital. So for higher values of n, the differences in the energies of orbitals becomes more noticeable, and as a result, staggering of orbital energy results. Now, what is the reason for difference in energies of orbitals of a given shell in multi-electron atoms? Electrons are negatively charged. We know like charges repel each other. Hence, mutual repulsion between the electrons in the shells of multi-electron atoms leads to difference in the energies of orbitals of a given shell of multi-electron atoms. In a multi-electron atom, two types of interactions are observed. Okay, first of all, if you take a multi-electron atom, it has a nucleus which has positively charged protons inside it, and there are electrons around the nucleus. Now, since electrons are negatively charged, protons present in the nucleus attract the electrons. So, this leads to forces of attraction between the electrons and the nucleus. So this is about the attractive interactions that can be found in a multi-electron atom. Now, since electrons are all negatively charged, they tend to repel each other. This leads to forces of repulsion among the electrons. So this is about the repulsive interactions in multi-electron atoms. So an electron in a multi-electron atom can be stable only when the total attractive interactions are more than the total repulsive interactions. Hence, the stability of such an electron depends on the total attractive interactions and the repulsive interactions. As we move from top to bottom of a group in the periodic table, the atomic number of multi-electron atoms increases. With increase in atomic number, size of the multi-electron atoms would also increase. Also, the positive charge on the nucleus would increase. Okay, as a result, the force of attraction between the electrons and the nucleus should increase, isn't it? However, this does not happen in bigger atoms. In bigger multi-electron atoms, due to the presence of electrons in the inner shells, the electrons in the outer shell will not experience the actual full positive charge of the nucleus or the strong attractive force of the nucleus. Okay, the electron in the outer shell will not experience the strong attractive force of the nucleus due to the presence of electrons in the inner shells. Now look at the picture. There is a positively charged nucleus in the center of an atom. Suppose that there's an electron in which we are interested in the outermost shell of this atom, which is indicated by an yellow spot. Now you can see that there are electrons in the inner shells of this atom which are in the blue zone around the nucleus, and they lie between the electron of interest in the outer shell and the positively charged nucleus. These electrons which are present in the inner shells partially screen the electron in the outer shell from the attractive force of the nucleus or positive charge of the nucleus. As a result, the electron in the outer shell can experience only lesser attraction from the nucleus. Now let me explain this with another example. Imagine that you are going out on a very hot and sunny day. So what would you do when you are out in this hot sun? You would try to shield your eyes using your hand and cover them a little. You can see everything because the light of the sun is still there, but the effect of the sun on your eyes may be felt less. Why? Due to your hand that shields your eyes from the rays of sun. Okay, your hand screens your eyes from the rays of sun. Likewise, electrons present in the outer shell experience very less force of attraction from the nucleus as they are partially screened by electrons present in the inner shell. Thus, the shielding of the outer shell electrons from the attractive forces of the nucleus by the inner shell electrons is known as screening effect or shielding effect. Children, this is very important from the exam point of view. Now, The net positive charge experienced by the outer electrons is known as effective nuclear charge. This is again important. Okay, the net positive charge experienced by the outer electrons is known as effective nuclear charge, and this is given by the following expression: Z effective E is equal to Ze minus sigma. Okay, this is known as screening constant. The value of this depends on the number of electrons present in the inner shells. The attractive interactions existing between the electrons and the nucleus and the repulsive interactions existing among the electrons in an atom depend on two things. Firstly, on the shell or energy level of the orbital in which the electron is present, and secondly, on the shape of the orbital in which the electron is present. Now, look at the first picture displayed on the right. You can see an s orbital and three p orbitals drawn separately within a shell, right? Now, imagine that all the three p orbitals and the s orbitals are together. This is how, in reality, the s orbitals and all three of p orbitals would exist within a same shell. I have tried to visualize this through the second picture. Even though all the different orbitals are present in the same shell, s orbital shields the outer electrons from the nucleus more effectively than the electrons present in p orbitals, which in turn shields more effectively than the electrons present in d orbitals. What's the reason behind this? An s orbital is spherical and is very compact. It's the smallest orbital in any given shell. Since it is closer to the nucleus, it will have a more effective screening effect because it is closer to the nucleus and it has chances of electrons all over in the sphere. But a p orbital can screen only along one of the axes, isn't it? There are three orientations possible for a p orbital. What are they? Px, Py and Pz. If we take px orbital, it will show screening effect only in the x-axis. If we take py orbital, it will show screening effect only in the y-axis. And if we take pz orbital, it will show screening effect only in the z-axis. The d orbitals, on the other hand, they are even more diffused in their shape. They have a double dumbbell shape. Since the double dumbbell shape is more diffused, electrons present in d orbitals would not be able to screen the outer electrons so well from the nucleus. So, screening effect of electrons in s orbital is more than the electrons in p orbital, which is again more than the electrons in d orbitals. Electrons in d orbitals screen much more than the electrons in f orbital because f orbitals are even more diffused in shape than d orbitals. So that was about the shielding effect. Now look at the last picture. Let's focus on the third shell alone. Third shell has 3s orbital, 3p orbitals and 3d orbitals. You can see that the 3s orbital is closer to the nucleus than 3p and 3d orbitals. Since 3s orbital is closer to the nucleus, the electrons in 3s orbital would spend more time closer to the nucleus than the electrons in 3p and 3d orbitals. So, for any given shell in an atom, the s orbital electron spends more time close to the nucleus in comparison to p orbital electron, which in turn spends more time in the vicinity of nucleus in comparison to d orbital electron. Okay, so why is this difference? This is due to the different shape of the orbitals. Since the shape of orbitals is defined by the value of L, we can say that effective nuclear charge experienced by electrons in orbitals decreases with increase in the value of L. Hence, s orbital with a value of L equal to 0 is more tightly bound to the nucleus as compared to p orbital with a value of L equal to 1. This in turn will be better tightly bound to the nucleus than the d orbital with a value of L equal to 2. So, now what decides the energies of these orbitals? All the orbitals present in a shell, do they have the same energy? No. Since screening effect is different for s orbitals, different for p orbitals and so on, and the effective nuclear charge experienced by different orbitals decreases with increase in the value of L, we see that the effective nuclear charge experienced by s orbital electrons is different from that experienced by p orbital electrons and so on. As a result of this, these orbitals in each shell develop a difference in their energies. They do not remain degenerate. Okay, they do not possess equal energies as in hydrogen atom. For instance, let us take the orbital in the third shell. Okay, 3s, 3p and 3d orbitals. They are no longer degenerate in multi-electron atoms. 3s orbitals have different energy from 3p orbitals, which in turn has different energy from 3d orbitals. So, the energy of electrons in s orbital will be lower or more negative than that of p orbital electron, which will have less energy than that of d orbital electron, and so on. Since the extent of shielding from the attractive force of nucleus is different for electrons occupying different orbitals of different shapes, it leads to the splitting of energy levels within the same shell or same principal quantum number. This is why the energy of electron in an orbital of a multi-electron atom depends not only on the values of n but also on the value of L. And this is illustrated by the energy level diagram displayed for a few shells of multi-electron atoms. Now, a simple rule called the n plus L rule or Bohr-Bury's rule is generally used to compare the energies of different orbitals. Children, n plus L rule or Bohr-Bury's rule is a very important rule from the exam point of view. The first statement under this rule is the lower the value of n plus L for an orbital, the lower is its energy. Now look at the table displayed on the right side. Various orbitals are listed in the first column. Values of n and L corresponding to each orbital are listed in the next two columns. In the next column, they have calculated the n plus L value for each orbital. Let's try to calculate the n plus L value of 1s, 2s and 2p orbitals first. For 1s orbital, the value of n is equal to 1, and since it is an s orbital, value of L is 0. Therefore, the sum of n and L gives you 1 plus 0, which is equal to 1. Now for 2s orbital, the value of n is equal to 2, and since it is s orbital, the value of L, that is again 0. Therefore, the sum of n and L gives you 2 plus 0, which is equal to 2. So if we compare the n plus L values of 1s and 2s orbitals, we find that 1s orbital has an n plus L value of 1 and 2s orbital has an n plus L value of 2. According to the first statement, the lower the value of n plus L for an orbital, the lower is its energy. Since 1s orbital has lower value of n plus L, the energy of 1s orbital is less than the energy of 2s orbital. Now, for 2p orbital, the value of n is equal to 2. And since this is a p orbital, the value of L would be equal to 1. Therefore, sum of n and L would give you 2 plus 1 equal to 3. So now if we compare the n plus L values of 2s orbital and 2p orbital, we find that the 2s orbital has an n plus L value of 2 and the 2p orbital has an n plus value of 3. Since the 2s orbital has lower value of n plus L, isn't it? It has 2. So the energy of 2s orbital is less than the energy of 2p orbital. Now, the second statement under this rule is, if two orbitals have the same value of n plus L, the orbital with lower value of n will have the lower energy. Now let us compare the n plus L values of 3d orbital and 4p orbital. Look at the table. They both have an n plus L value of 5. So, according to the statement, the value of n for a 3d orbital is less than the value of n of a 4p orbital, isn't it? The value of n for 3d orbital is 3. This is less than the value of n is equal to 4 for 4p orbital. So the orbital with a lower value of n here is 3d orbital. So it has lesser energy than 4p orbital. So children, Bohr-Bury's rule is very important. You may get problems related to Bohr-Bury's rule in your exam. So learn the two statements under this rule and learn to compare the energies of orbitals using n plus L rule. Children, remember the energy of orbitals in hydrogen atom increases with increase in the value of n, and the corresponding order of increasing energy in hydrogen atom is shown. The energy of orbitals in a multi-electron atom, on the other hand, depends both on the value of principal quantum number n and azimuthal quantum number L. So, the corresponding order of increasing energy in a multi-electron atom is also shown here. Energies of orbitals in the same subshell decrease with increase in the atomic number. For example, energy of 2s orbital of hydrogen is greater than the energy of 2s orbital of lithium, which in turn is greater than the energy of 3s orbital of sodium. Now, what's the reason for this? There are two forces acting on an electron in a 2s orbital. First one is the attraction from protons in the nucleus, and the second one is the repulsion due to inner shell electrons. Repulsion due to inner shell electrons is known as screening effect. Screening effect reduces the attraction from the nucleus. Now, look at the pictures of hydrogen atom in the excited state, lithium atom and sodium atom displayed. Usually, the electron in hydrogen atom occupies 1s orbital when it is in the ground state. However, in excited state, it may occupy a 2s orbital. Now, that is shown in the picture display. Moreover, it is not screened by any other electron from the attractive force of nucleus. The only force experienced by the electron in the 2s orbital of hydrogen is the attractive pull of the one proton present inside its nucleus. The electronic configuration of lithium atom is 1s2 2s1, and the electronic configuration of sodium atom is 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s1. These show the distribution of electrons in various orbitals of the different shells of lithium and sodium atom. Lithium has 3 protons inside its nucleus, whereas sodium has 11 positively charged protons inside its nucleus. From the electronic configuration, we can see that lithium has 2 electrons in its 1s orbital. And similarly, sodium also has 2 electrons in its 1s orbital. Okay? While lithium has 1 electron in its 2s orbital, sodium has 2 electrons in its 2s orbital. However, the 2s electrons of lithium and sodium are equally screened from the attraction of nucleus by the 2 electrons in their 1s orbitals. Okay, so screening effect has nothing to do with energy of orbitals in this case. In terms of force of attraction experienced by electrons in 2s orbitals of hydrogen, lithium and sodium atoms, the electron in the 2s orbital of hydrogen experiences the least attraction from the nucleus. Okay, hence the energy of the 2s orbital of hydrogen is very high. The electron in the 2s orbital of lithium experiences more attraction from the nucleus since there are now 3 protons attracting the 2s electrons. Okay, hence the energy of the 2s orbital of lithium is a bit lesser than the energy of 2s orbital of hydrogen. Now, the electron in the 2s orbital of sodium experiences much more attraction from the nucleus since there are 11 positively charged protons attracting the electrons in 2s orbitals now. So, the energy of the 2s orbital of sodium is much lesser than the energies of the 2s orbitals of lithium and hydrogen. So, this is the reason for the energy of 2s orbital of hydrogen atom being greater than the energy of 2s orbitals of lithium and sodium atoms. Here's an exercise problem 2.62 related to n plus L rule. The quantum numbers of 6 electrons are given below. Arrange them in order of increasing energies. If any of these combinations has or have the same energy, list. So you can see there are 6 sets of quantum numbers. We are provided with 6 sets of 4 quantum numbers, and each set corresponds to the orbital occupied by each one of the 6 electrons. We can work out this problem easily in the tabular format shown. In the first column, I have written the serial number of each given set. In the second column, I have listed the 6 sets of 4 quantum numbers. In the third column, the orbital occupied by electron indicated by each set is mentioned. And in the last column, I have calculated the n plus L value of each orbital. Now look at the first set of quantum numbers. Here, since the value of n is equal to 4, then it means that the electron is in the fourth shell, and L is equal to 2. This corresponds to the d orbital. So electron is present in the 4d orbital, and the value of n plus L can be calculated as 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. Okay, now moving on to the second set. Here the value of n is 3 and L is 2. This indicates that the electron is in the third shell, and since L is equal to 2, it is in the d orbital. So electron is present in the 3d orbital. Okay, and the corresponding value of n plus L is given by 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. Now third set. Okay, here n is 4 and L is equal to 1. L is equal to 1 means it corresponds to p orbital. So the electron occupies the 4p orbital. Okay, so as usual we calculate the n plus L value as 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. Okay, now the fourth question. N is equal to 3 and L is equal to 2. Okay, so this is in the electron is in 3d orbital. The n plus L value is given by 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. Now the fifth set of quantum numbers. Okay, here n is 3 and L is 1. This means the electron is occupying the 3p orbital, and the corresponding n plus L value is 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. Now the last set of quantum numbers. N is equal to 4, L is equal to 1. Okay, so here the electron is occupying the 4p orbital, and the value of n plus L is 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. We know according to n plus L rule, the lower the value of n plus L for an orbital, the lower is its energy. Also, if two orbitals have the same value of n plus L, the orbital with the lower value of n will have lower energy. So in this problem solution, in the n plus L value, you can find many orbitals with the same value of n plus L. Okay, so keeping this in mind, let us arrange the orbitals in the order of increasing energies. Since 3p orbital has the lowest value for n plus L, it has the lowest energy. Since 3d orbital has a value of n plus L is equal to 5, which is higher than that of 3p orbital, it has higher energy than 3p orbital. Okay, now 4p orbital has a value of n plus L is equal to 5. But since the value of n for 4p orbital is greater than the n value of 3 for 3d orbital, it has higher energy than 3d orbital. Okay, now since 4d orbital has a value of n plus L as 6, it has higher energy than 4p orbital. Okay, hence let's arrange the orbitals in the increasing order of their energies. 3p is less than 3d is equal to 3d. There are two 3d orbitals, isn't it, in the tabular column. So we write it like this: 3d is equal to 3d less than 4p is equal to 4p less than 4d. Or you may arrange the serial numbers corresponding to the increasing order of orbital energies as shown here. So 5 is less than 2 is equal to 4, less than 3 equal to 6, less than 1. This is how you can arrange the orbitals in the increasing order of their energies. Exercise problem 2.64. Among the following pairs of orbitals, which orbital will experience the larger effective nuclear charge? 2s and 3s, 4d and 4f, 3d and 3p. In this problem, we are asked to find out which orbital in each pair listed experiences greater force of attraction from the nucleus. Or in other words, we are asked to find out which orbital in each given pair experiences larger effective nuclear charge from the nucleus. Let's see. First of all, let's compare 2s and 3s orbitals. Okay, 2s orbital is in the second shell, whereas 3s orbital is in the third shell, isn't it? So, 2s orbital is closer to the nucleus than 3s orbital. Hence, the net positive charge experienced by electrons in 2s orbital is greater than that which is experienced by electrons in 3s orbital. Or, in other words, electrons in 2s orbital would experience greater force of attraction from the positively charged nucleus than the electrons in 3s orbital. So 2s orbital will experience larger effective nuclear charge than 3s orbital. Okay, let's compare 4d and 4f orbitals. If we take 4d and 4f orbitals, we can find that both the orbitals are in the same fourth shell in this case. But in the previous pair, it was not so. 2s orbital was in the second shell and 3s orbital was in third shell. So, they were in different shells. But here, 4d and 4f orbitals are in the same fourth shell. Okay, since d orbital is closer to the nucleus than f orbital, 4d orbital is closer to the nucleus than 4f orbital. Hence, 4d orbital would experience larger effective nuclear charge than 4f orbital. Now, let's take the last case, 3d orbital and 3p orbital. Okay, here again we can find that the orbitals 3d and 3p are in the same third shell. Since p orbital is closer to the nucleus than d orbital, 3p orbital is closer to the nucleus than 3d orbital. Hence, 3p orbital would experience larger effective nuclear charge than 3d orbital. Okay, so children, that marks the end of today's topic, energies of orbitals. Thank you for listening.